Okay, so in this video I will be talking about emergent properties, and I'll also be talking about stem cells, and this falls under topic 1.1 of the IB biology syllabus and includes both standard level and higher level contents. So first of all, what are emergent properties? Emergent properties are characteristics of the whole multicellular organism, including the fact that it is alive, and they arise from the interaction of the component parts of a complex structure. Now, this may sound difficult, but I'm going to explain it to you. When talking about emergent properties, we usually use the phrase, "the whole is better than the composition of its parts." So basically, an example, cells by themselves aren't very useful. However, they work together to form tissues which have a particular function. These tissues work together to form organs which have a function, and these organs work together to form an organ system, and such as the digestive system, and so on. Now, I've added this picture of the ants and the ant colonies because an ant by itself isn't very smart. It's not able to work very well on its own. However, in an ant colony is actually very intelligent because the ants are able to find food in an efficient way by leaving hormones called pheromones around to allow the other ants to identify the food source. So basically, this is kind of like a metaphor for emergent properties. A single cell on its own isn't very useful, but as a whole it is, and the functions that arise from the whole composition, the whole structure, are known as emergent properties. Okay, so now moving on to multicellular organisms. So first of all, we need to know what multicellular organisms are. They are organisms consisting of a single mass of cells fused together. They are capable of completing functions that individual cells could not undertake. This is due to the interaction between cells producing new functions. So that interaction between cells and the functions being produced are the emergent properties. The cells in multicellular organisms, I think it's important that we understand that these cells are not as complex as the cells in unicellular organisms. And this is because in unicellular organisms, they must carry out all of the functions of life: nutrition, metabolism, growth, response, excretion, homeostasis, reproduction. Meanwhile, the cells in multicellular organisms work together to complete all of those life processes, which is why they aren't as complex in their structure. So here is a diagram of the cells in multicellular organisms. They go on to form tissues, organs, organ systems, and then the organism. So basically, each component works together to form the complex structure. Okay, so now moving on to cell differentiation. Cell differentiation is when cells become specialized. It is the development of cells in different ways to carry out specific functions. Now, how is cell differentiation made possible? First of all, we have to understand that each cell has the full genome. No matter what type of cell it is, if it's a neuron, a blood cell, it doesn't matter. It has the full genome, which is the organism's entire set of genes. So it has the instructions to develop into any type of cell. During differentiation, the genes that are not required are switched off, so only the specific genes needed for the cell to be specialized for its function are expressed. So the difference between certain specialized cells is the gene expression. And it is chemical signals that leads to different gene expression and thus the specialization of cells. Okay, so stem cells. What are stem cells? They are undifferentiated cells that have the potential to divide into many different types of specialized cell. Stem cells are useful in medical research for two main reasons. One, they can divide repeatedly, so they're useful for the growth of tissues or the replacement of cells that have been lost or damaged. And the second reason is that they are not fully differentiated, and they can specialize to produce different cell types and a variety of different tissues. And these two characteristics are very useful in biological research and in medicine. And in the next video, we'll be talking about embryonic stem cells, adult stem cells, which can be used to treat diseases such as leukemia, etc. So yes, a stem cell has the ability to divide into any type of cell. However, this depends on the type of stem cell that it is. And we'll be looking at the types of stem cells in the next, later on. So a stem cell can become a muscle cell, a fat cell, a bone cell, blood cell. You get the idea. Stem cells can divide indefinitely to create more stem cells. Stem cells are the only cells in the body that can divide by mitosis. They differentiate to become a specialized cell type in a multicellular organism. So there are three main types of stem cells: totipotent, pluripotent, and multipotent. So first of all, totipotent. This means that the stem cell can differentiate into any type of cell. And an example of a totipotent stem cell is a zygote. It can differentiate into any type of cell in the body. There is no limit. With pluripotent, however, there is a limit to the type of cell that the stem cell can specialize into. It can differentiate into many types of cells, but not all of them. And an example of this is the early embryo. And lastly, we have the multipotent stem cells. Now, these are more limited in terms of the types of cells that they can become. They can differentiate into, as I said, a limited number of cell types related to their tissue origin. So an example of this is the bone marrow. So basically, multipotent cells are like adult stem cells. Okay, so in conclusion, we learnt about emergent properties, we learnt about multicellular organisms, cell differentiation, stem cells, the different types of stem cells such as totipotent, pluripotent, and multipotent stem cells. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe to our channel for more biology and chemistry content.